Hello YouTube world, it is Liam, the Deaf Doom Metalhead, and I'm doing a metal CD collection update today. I have a 10 stack of Deaf, Doom, all the usual good stuff, and a specific album that I didn't think I was ever going to have, but there is a story behind it, so we'll kick off with that one. So in my last video, or video before it, I mentioned that I would never show the new Iron Maiden album until I found it in a bargain bin, or years later I'd check it out. Bizarrely, after I did that video, I got an email from EMP, which is like a German metal retailer, which I have like a exclusive membership to, and I get free postage on anything, and it all comes from Germany. So it's a great way for me to get European stuff without having to pay shipping if they have it. And they offered me this album for a whopping £6.66, and that is the new Iron Maiden album, Senjutsu, that came out a couple of months ago. Now this one came with a lenticular cover, as you can see. I haven't seen anyone else show this version yet, so I feel a bit special that I've got that. I mean, all it is just stuck onto the original cover, so it's nothing fancy, but it was quite nice to see. And like I said, I got this for £6.66, didn't have to pay postage, and this was cheaper than getting it from the supermarket. So I thought, with that kind of price, I couldn't say no to it. And my boys are getting into Iron Maiden now. I have 2 kids, and my oldest, who's now 9 in November, he said to me, "Oh, it'd be really cool if you got that album, Dad," because he liked the first single that they put out, that anime video. He liked that a lot. So I was like, oh, okay, if you listen to it, more power to you, because I'd rather have my kids listen to metal than rap or pop music. And I'm a bit of an Iron Maiden fan myself. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a die-hard Iron Maiden fan. I wouldn't get fucking well anal about it like some people do. And I've seen tons of people review this, and they've all been really silly to me. Like, some of the reviews are just ridiculous. Like, they haven't really listened to it in my head, or they're just doing it based off what they think they should sound like from the 1980s, and they should sound like that now, even though they're in their 70s nearly. I mean, realistically, you have to kind of put it into perspective what this band should sound like now, because they're not going to sound like the original version of them. It's like Judas Priest. They're still great, but they don't sound like how they used to. Over the years they've progressed and they've changed their style, and this is no different. This is a band that have 3 guitarists that I imagine all have very different ideas of how their music should sound nowadays, so you have to throw that into the pot. You've got the fact that the bass player, it's his band, so he's going to have the final say on everything anyway. So there's that. You've got the Bruce having throat cancer at the back of his throat. That's obviously going to play a major role in it as well. So the album is going to be very different, and lots of people complaining that the songs are too long. I'm a Doom fan. Every song is long, so these aren't long songs to me. I will say though, there's a lot of songs on here that don't need to exist. Now, I've listened to this album about 3 times, and in my honest opinion, you could take the first disc, so Senjutsu, Strategio, didn't like that track, thought it was a bit naff. The Writing on the Wall's okay. Lost in a Lost World, get rid of that. Days of Future Past is okay. Stick in Hell on Earth, that's the album done. That's a good 50 odd minutes worth of music. That amount of music there equates to, I think, 2 discs about 41 minutes each. I mean, disc 2 was dull for me, very, very dull. The last track was superb. That was it. That's all I remember from it. I mean, the worst song for me out of the whole album was The Parchment. That was loads of recycled riffs, didn't go anywhere. And I was reading the liner notes, and it's another Steve Harris song. You're like, why? Who let him do that? And as a band, you kind of think you want to spice it up a bit. You don't want to put the last disc to be just all your epic songs that you could come up with during your your time off. So for me personally, the Iron Maiden album wasn't as bad as people made out it was going to be. I actually quite enjoyed it, the first disc anyway. And then, like I say, the very last track of the second disc, stick that on the first disc and get rid of what did I say? Days of Future Past. That's a solid album for me. I mean, cover-wise, I really like the cover a lot. I can understand they want to kind of keep with the theme of having the black background, and then when you open the gatefold, you get really cool artwork. But don't get me wrong, that for me is a front cover right there. You could stick the Iron Maiden logo up there, and I think everyone would be happy with that. But as an artistic vibe, you want to kind of explore how much you can do with the digipack, and I can see what they've done with it. Don't really understand why you haven't got the track listing on the back, because it's an absolute nightmare to remember the song titles. That's why I've got the book out. But yeah, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. My kids enjoy it a lot more than I do, especially my oldest. So that's been played in the car a few times. The writing on the wall is the one I've heard about 500 times now because my son loves it. So yeah, not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I did not expect myself to have that so early on. I thought that was going to be a, you know, a £4 jobby on Amazon like 10 years later. But yeah, really, really cool album. Now, let's get down to the, you know, the meat and potatoes of this video. So, first album I'm going to show you is a Polish death doom band that I discovered only 2 weeks ago. I purchased this CD as a blind buy, and I love it. The band is called Impure Declaration, and Mind Upheaval Unclear Signs is the name of this album, or EP should I say. So the EP looks like that. These are hand numbered as well, and this came out in 2019, and this is their second EP. So like I say, I've never heard of this band before. It was released through Old Temple, which is a record label based in Poland, and this has got strong Triptychon kind of vibes to it, very much that Celtic Frost kind of vibe, very dissonant death doom, very reverby, very mellow, cavernous sounding, not like your American style death doom at the moment where it's all about, you know, the ultra heavy riffs with loads of reverb on it. This is kind of a step back from that, a bit more mellow. But really enjoyed this. I mean, I had no idea what it was going to sound like. Like I say, it's a complete blind buy. It said Death Doom when I was buying it from my friend Chris from Cavernous Records, his distro, and he normally, you know, sells the good stuff. And yeah, this was spot on. So if you haven't checked this out, I believe this is on YouTube. Not sure if it's on streaming services, but yeah, really cool little EP there. Next one is a Swedish band that formed in the 1990s. There's only one original member now, but they've been going strong for a number of years now. Death doom, but more in a doomy death style, so it's more of a kind of groovier bass riffs, more essence on the like Black Sabbath style of doom, and that is Runemagick. This is their 2007 album called Dawn of the End. This is a Brazilian reissue that was reissued in 2020. So yeah, nothing fancy really, just a standard reissue. What's cool about this band though is the members of it. So the only original member is a chap called Nicholas Rudolph. He also features in Heavy Death, and he's also been in other little projects here and there. His wife is the bass player in this band, and the drummer is Daniel Molian, who's also Catatonia's drummer for a number of years. So really cool band. I think he was also the guy behind this, was in the black metal band Sacramentum, if you know them. He's done all their albums as well. So if you like that band, you might like this one. It's very doomy, very empty in some places. It's very cavernous, hollow. You know, there's not much going on apart from like this really eerie riff, and then it kind of hits you in the face, and then there'll be like a groovy section. There's a lot going on this album. All their albums are solid. There's absolutely loads. I think there's 12 full lengths this band have done. So well worth checking out if you haven't checked out Runemagick, because they are a really cool band. Now, next one is a band that has put out this album this year, but I didn't realise they were so local to me. Now, the guy who does this project only lives about 10 minutes away from my parents' house here in Norfolk. I thought they were London-based, but they are an international-based band, but the guy behind it lives very close to me. This is Aphonic, I can't fucking pronounce it, Threnody. I'm terrible at pronouncing album names, but you can read it down there and correct me in your mind. This is a 2021 release, self-release by the band, and it's a funeral doom. Features, I have to use my notes here because there's so much going on. So it's got Daniel Nago of Clouds, if you know that band, quite a big band. He's a frontman in many different projects, and I think he also plays drums. He's a really cool guy. So Ricardo there doesn't live too far away from me, I realised the other day. And then I think the other guy in this project is based in Italy, and then another guy in Chile, or Chile. But yeah, really strong album. This is a very strong funeral doom album. So if you like bands like Ahab, Mournful Congregation, that kind of vibe, it's very much in that ballpark. So it's very dissonant. It's got some kind of chanting vocal styles, and there's some death metal growls, very eerie kind of harmonies. I mean, you know, I said people's moan about the Iron Maiden type track lengths. Look at those there, and you'll understand it's just totally normal for doom metal. But I like the cover. George, the drummer in my band Consecration, was already a fan of these, and I saw him wearing the t-shirt at rehearsals, and I had this on my Bandcamp, so I picked it up, and I really wasn't disappointed. This is a very, very strong album. And then my friend Josh Coe, he's also a big fan of these guys. So yeah, really, really interesting project, and one I didn't realise was so close to home. So when I saw the postal address on the parcel, it really confused me. I didn't realise what it was going to be. Cool. Right, next one is a German death metal band that plays in the style of Bolt Thrower and uses World War I themes throughout the album. This is their debut full length that came out, I think 2019 or 2020, I think 2019, through Memento Mori, and that is Minenfeld, with the album The Great Adventure. This is a really cool album. It's got obviously the Bolt Thrower vibe is very, very strong, but they break the album up with using like old World War I kind of like sound bites, like musical clips and stuff like that, with like a gramophone kind of sound, and there's a woman singing like an old World War I song, you know, and I'm a bit of a history nerd, and I really enjoyed that. It kind of made the album a bit different, and it was a really, really cool album. It's got like a black metal edge to it as well, but it's very much in the, if Bolt Thrower became a bit more raw and aggressive, it's got that vibe to it. So it sounds like Bolt Thrower, but if they were a bit more in the vein of a black metal band, it's got that kind of sound to it. You know, you got like the Ukrainian band 1914, they're not too dissimilar. These guys are more on the chuggier side of things. Really, really heavy, and like I say, I mean, that artwork was kind of the main reason I got it in the first place. You know, I looked at that and thought, I'm probably going to enjoy that, and it's through Memento Mori, so you can't really go wrong. And yeah, spot on album. So if you haven't checked that one out, that's a really, really cool one if you're a Bolt Thrower fan. So this band next is a Massachusetts-based death metal band. Yes, so this came out this year. This is a debut full length for 2021, put out through Headsplit Records. I won't even try and pronounce the band name, but it'll pop down there. And this is their album Death Fugue or Fuck. I'm not sure. You tell me what you think. But Anthony over at Metal Miners kind of said to me, check this out. I mean, I had it on my radar because I've seen a few people show the artwork, but I wasn't sure what it was. And he kind of said to me the guitar tone, but what B sells it to you. And he was again dead right. This is death thrash, kind of old, crusty, horrible sounding death thrash. It's so heavy, and the guitar production on it, the sound, the tone, the volume, everything is perfect. You know, it sells itself just by the guitar tone alone. Really heavy, very fast, you know, no nonsense, dirty sounding vocals. It's just a nasty sounding album, very thrashy, got that D-beat kind of sound going on as well. It's perfect. Absolutely love this one. This is a really, really good listen. This is one I haven't got bored of at all yet. I've spun this at least 6-7 times while working in the weeks I've had this now. And it's just a nice one that sits in the middle of my playlist. I'll line up my CDs for the day, and this one will just hit and it'll wake me right up, you know, and I'm ready to go again. So yeah, really, really good album, that one. Really enjoyed that. Now, another UK debut full length. This is a one-man black metal project out of Yorkshire, I believe, somewhere up that way. And this is I'm going to try and get this right. Borogor. And this is his debut full length, Not Long for This World. This is a one-man project done by a chap called Dale. I've spoken to Dale a few times. He's a really nice guy, made me laugh quite a bit. Proper Yorkshire lad. I hope he's from Yorkshire. I'm fairly sure he is. I'm adamant he is, but either way, it doesn't matter. Now, the artwork was done by his wife, so she put together this whole package for him, designed it all, and he's done all the music himself. So you got programmed drums, and then you got him doing the vocals, guitar work. And this is a really harsh listen. It's very harsh. It's not like your 90s kind of black metal. It's not like your Scandinavian style black metal. This, to me, is very primal, northern sounding black metal. So in the UK we have quite a lot of UK black metal bands, and the more north you go in the country, they all have a certain sound. Like I've played loads of gigs up in like York Way, Leeds, and the further you go the more harsher they are. I mean, they're a primal lot anyway, northerners, and black metal especially, it's got a certain sound to it. It's like the Welsh scene. It's a very strong scene in Wales as well. And you know, Dale here has done something really, really cool. It's very miserable sounding. The vocals are very harsh, barked. You know, it's not an easy listen. It's not supposed to make you feel comfortable. It's not pretty, nothing like that. It's very harsh, very angry, and the songs are about like personal things as well. So it kind of adds that tone to it. It's very harsh, and it's just like a release. of energy. So yeah, really, really cool little project. I know Kelly T bigs him up a lot, and that is where I heard of him first, at least a year ago now. There is an EP before this. But yeah, some splendid work there, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does next, because I believe he's already writing the next one, so really cool stuff. Now this one, again, was a blind buy, and this is an amazing blind buy. 2021 EP, and this is a Chaos Records release, and this is a band never heard of before, and it absolutely floored me how cool this is. This is Gateway, with the EP, if I can read it, Flesh Reborn. Came out this year, like I said. One-man project, but there's two people on this EP. He's got, I believe, some lead work from another chap. But the guy in question is a Robin van Ooyen. This is a Belgian-based band. And Robin here has created something, it's very, very harsh. I mean, it's like, if you love Death Doom like I do, you like it very atmospheric, very heavy, and has that kind of crunch, like rip your face off kind of style. And this, what that reminds me of a lot. It's very atmospheric, very, very heavy, very raw, aggressive, and it, you know, spot on for a 2021 release. I've never heard of these guys ever. You know, I just listened to this absolutely loads, and like I say, it was a blind buy again from Chris at Cavernous. Saw Death Doom, and I picked it up, and I have played this a lot. It's very, very strong. So if you like Death Doom like I do, this is well worth your time if you can find a copy of it, because it will absolutely flatten you. It's that heavy. So that's some Gateway. Next is another Memento Mori album that came out in, I believe, 2020 or 2019. I think 2020. I can never remember. The band is called That. I can't pronounce that one either. And this is a split. So this was already released by another label. But this is a Memento Mori repress with the EP thrown in on top. So the album is actually called Void Gazer, but this also includes Rituals of Extinction, which is the EP prior to it. One-man death metal project from Texas. Guy in question is called Shane Elwell, and he's in lots of different projects. He's also known for doing The Howling Void, if you know that kind of funeral doom kind of band. I have a few of those albums, and I wasn't aware it was the same guy, but it's him. And it's killer. You get the artwork of the EP on the other side of the book if you wish to change the case. And this is full on fuck you death metal, modern kind of style production. So you got your 7-string guitars, kind of chunky, thick, fat sound. It's not dirty, it's very thick and heavy, modern kind of production. And yeah, very, very heavy. I really enjoyed this. I gave it a test on YouTube before I bought it. And you know, 2 tracks in I was, you know, sold, so I thought I'll have to have that. And yeah, a really, really cool release. You get a lot of music on this as well, so you got the full album and the EP, so you know, you won't get bored. But yeah, really surprised me how good that was, because I know of Shane's work. Like I say, The Howling Void is very, very different to this. So when I put the two together, I would never have guessed it's the same guy. But yeah, really good death metal band. Slight edit on this video. This album in question, I talked absolute bollocks. The actual mastermind behind it is a chap called Ryan Wilson, who's also The Howling Void, all those other projects. The guy in question that I did mention, a Shane Elwell, I'm having to use my notes again, he's actually the drummer on this album. So he does all the drums, but Ryan is the mastermind. So there's a quick edit, carry on with the video. And the last one is a Greek band, and this is their debut from 2020, put out through Chaos Records. And that is Slough of Despair with Catacombs of Terror. This is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. If you like Greek metal in general, a lot of their bands have a similar sound, you know, or style of vocal, and you know, these guys are no different. When I researched the details for this video, I kind of found out they were Greek, listened to it and went, oh yeah, I can hear it now. It does have nods to, trying to think of some Greek bands now, like Rotting Christ. You know, that vocal style, you know how Rotting Christ do that kind of slowed down sections in their songs? It's got that vibe to it a lot. It's just a really cool band, and one I'm fairly new to. I mean, I only discovered this maybe about a month ago, and it was in my want list on Bandcamp, and I kind of found it in a distro for a sensible price, picked it up, and I've had about 2 or 3 spins of this, and yeah, absolutely killer, kind of doomy death metal, more in the vein of like, you know, like I say, that old school kind of doom sound, very thick, very heavy, and then the guttural vocals kind of put in on top of it. And yeah, really enjoyed this a lot. So if you haven't checked that one out, go check it out. I haven't got too much to say about it because it's a band this is their debut full length, and it's only one, you know, I don't know anything about really apart from that album, and it's, you know, really, really cool. So yeah, 10 albums, including the new Iron Maiden. Didn't think I'd be throwing that in there, but there you go. Please like and subscribe if you are watching. If you're new to the channel, there is other content that should be popping around my head now. Thank you to everyone who watched this video. I'll hopefully talk to you all in the comment section, see what you think. If you've got any suggestions, you know, send them over. I always get suggestions sent to me, and they're always welcome. So until then, take care, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Cheers.